Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Arcadia SMP with me, Nisi. I'm back at my beautiful beach resort, but we're actually going to start off the episode by heading into the nether, for there is something I must work on there. Let's go! Here I am, working on my nether tunnel. I decided to take charge of this tunnel heading west because at the moment, I am the only nether portal this way. This is our nether hub. I don't know if I've shown this off, so let's take a very quick look. This is, well, not sure why that didn't render. This is our nether hub. We've got a little roof portal thing here. We have some enemy propaganda missing on the Duke posters here, which is kind of my fault, but I'm working on my tunnel. I've got important things to do. And yeah, I'm the only portal this way just now, but there are discussions on the potential gaming district location, and it's very likely, I think so far, this right here is going to be the direction of the gaming district as well. This tunnel might end up being quite well traveled, which puts the pressure on for me because I decided to do it because I thought it was my tunnel, and now it might be a shared tunnel. But yes, I'm looking at what other people have started working on here, and I love what they're doing with this. It's so bright and colorful. I kind of want to do something similar. Each tunnel's got a dedicated color, and I actually managed to get blue, which is perfect because this is the way that goes to the ocean and to my base. But of course, because I need to use slabs and carpets and stuff, I had to go for one of the wool colors, and I could have maybe done light blue, but I decided to go for cyan. I think it's blue enough to not get confused with any other tunnel, considering that's the green one, and I think, I'm not sure what color that's going to be, but that's going to be hopefully not cyan. If it is, we're going to have issues. Yeah, I'm working on this, and I'm trying to think of a design for these little walls over here. And I'm trying to think of sea themed, of beach themed, something like that. And I kind of wonder, and this is insane, if I could make some sort of recreation of the Great Wave in this kind of tiny space. We've got 7 blocks wide and a little bit taller up. And can I make a wave shape in this? I don't know, but that's what I'm gonna try. So it's gonna be a little bit of a grindy progress. I'm only gonna work on this when I have the time and energy for it, but hopefully I can make something pretty out of this. Ooh, okay, it's kind of resembling the Great Wave, but really not that much. So I think this might need to be a darker color. And somehow the only thing I have for that with me is the warp planks. Let's try that. Good work. I don't have my shears on me, so this is very painful, but I refuse to go back to where I've left them. Oh, I don't know actually, if that feels even less wavy. But I think instead of the white wool, we might need to use pale oak here. So I can use slabs and stairs to kind of give more of a complex shape. Or alternatively, where's this all been? Or alternatively, I might need to space out the pillars more so have more room for pixel art. I'm not sure. Should this be... what is the correct amount? What? Oh, no. I am barely wearing armor. Let me out. Okay, I've doubled the scale by going a little bit longer. I've torn down the pillar in the middle here. So instead of a 7 block gap, we have a 15 block gap now between the pillars, if my math checks out. And you know what? I do think that looks pretty good. Now, obviously, this sort of pattern wouldn't really be sustainable for me or anyone if I were to do a massive long tunnel with it. But I actually think that because at the moment it's only going up to there, this would be maybe 10, 15 times I would have to do this, which sounds like a lot, but honestly, I think I could probably crack it out with a little bit of effort and a good YouTube video in the background as soon as I get down the pattern. So, oh, this should probably maybe be this color. Yeah, okay, I think that helps actually. And just for a little bit of context, this is the Great Wave of Kanagawa, which was made by Japanese artist Hokusai in the 1831s. It's one of the most famous pieces of art worldwide, I would like to think. So hopefully you guys can recognize it even with my terrible pixel art skills here. The one thing I am missing is Mount Fuji here in the background, which I'm debating on adding or not, because on one hand, it is an absolutely iconic piece of the art. It is probably necessary for it to have Mount Fuji if I'm trying to be faithful to a recreation here. But part of me feels like it's a little bit odd because Mount Fuji does just scream Japan to me. Of course the Grave Wave does as well, but the Grave Wave can be associated more with like the ocean and stuff. Mount Fuji specifically is like the symbol of Japan to me, so adding it here could maybe be a bit weird because we're not building Japanese style. But maybe I'll give it a go. I mean, I've got deep slate on me. Whoops. It's definitely not enough blocks. I'm not sure what I would use for it. So I need to think about that, whether I'm going to add it or not. I'm kind of leaning to just this. Hopefully, we can still recognize it. And if we can't, I might need to add some signs. And I was thinking, as insane as that would be, how fun would it be to have a bunch of different painting recreations throughout this hallway, assuming they're mostly in the color blue because, I want to stick to the theme. But I do think I'll make a copy of the Great Wave here on the other side and see what I feel like when we have two of them on both edges. We may have an issue because I actually really like the way these are turning out. And it didn't take me that long to do this one either, so I might be going a little bit silly and possibly wanting to even commit to doing this the entire way through. Primarily because I feel like it looks very cool as we sort of fly by. I don't know. I think it looks really cool. And so I'd like the whole tunnel to be like this. It is making me change my mind on the cyan here though. So it'd be a shame, but I might need to rip out a lot of this cyan carpet and these beams as well and replace them with something else. I'm not too sure, but we might need to do that. But for now, I'm gonna make a couple more great waves.
All right, well, we have arrived at the secret prankster. It's time to grab our name this time, because last time we were here, we put ours in. All right, so...
Okay, press the button.
Me first? Or
yeah,
you?
No, you first.
Okay, here we go. All right, that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I like mine a lot. I think.
Yeah.
I think I'll have a good time with that.
It's good. Can I? I don't know how I can prank this person. It'll be a good try. Oh. What is this? What is this? Mail for you. Ooh. Oh. Oh. No, I have my governor. I'm currently at the Arcadia shopping district where all the drama is with the governor elections, but I'm not here for the governor elections today, no. I'm going to show something off to you guys because this is going to be what I'm working on this episode. So let's get started with the story, shall we? This is Cosmos's request board that we kind of collaborated on slightly, as in I suggested something like a board in the shopping district where I could request things. And then Cosmos did all the work and all the thinking behind it, and we got this wonderful build. And I had actually already put up a book. What's this? Ooh. Someone's requesting things. Yeah, people are using this a lot. I'm going to need to check out what that book is for. But actually my request was already fulfilled, which is kind of crazy. And I did have a clip of it, but unfortunately it didn't record so well. So here we are. I'll show you guys what I have. I have a book. Beacon Wanted by Nusi. Or Nusi, willing to pay 2 diamond blocks, no deadline. That was my request I put on the board here. And Corn so kindly fulfilled my request basically immediately. I do have a beacon, it's not with me. I've been almost sort of loaning it out to people as well that need beacons, making friends and all that stuff. And it's been very, very useful, and I love having a beacon. But I didn't pay Corn 2 diamond blocks. No. Corn had a different idea, which I completely agreed with because I'm actually quite broke, so 2 diamond blocks is a hefty price to pay. Now, Corn requested something very specific. Here we are in this section of the shopping district that has been specified as the French Quarter / Bourbon Street. I don't know how to say that word. Which is the French Quarter. If you're a European like me and you got confused, this is not France French Quarter. No, apparently this is meant to be New Orleans French Quarter, which is not a style I've ever built in, so I had to do a lot of research. But Corn wants me to build a shop exterior for her here so she can sell interiors, which sounds like an amazing idea because I get to build a building, I don't have to strip mine for diamonds, and I get to experiment with a brand new sort of building style for me. And then if it doesn't look good, it's not even my problem. I'm just kidding. I would feel insanely bad if it didn't look good. But Corn has picked out a spot over here. It does say Corn's head shop, but this is actually going to be the interior shop instead. And it's not a massive plot, so I don't know how much I can do here. I think we're going to go at least 2 floors up, so we have a bunch of space. And yeah, this will be interesting. I am really nervous being the first person to build in the French Quarter. But it's already been about a week since I got the beacon, and I feel bad making her wait so long, so I'm gonna have to just get started on this build and just see what I can do. I feel like the least qualified person to build in this style, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. So let's get started. By the way, I thought I should point out that I did do some adjustments to my Minecraft and the way it looks, just playing around with different settings. My Let's Play is very vanilla, but I thought in Arcadia we could have a little bit more artistic freedom. So I've got myself the Better Clouds mod, looks fantastic, and I changed up the fog settings, and I'm still playing around with how foggy things should be. I do think there's something very serene about the way this looks just now. It's very nice. Maybe it's very slightly too foggy. I'm not sure, but I think it looks quite lovely. So let me know what you guys think. Should I keep this or do you prefer the way vanilla Minecraft looks? Let me know. Thank you. To be quite honest, I have no idea what I'm doing with this building, but I've started placing blocks down because that's normally the hardest step, is just getting started. So I'm trying to come up with some sort of color palette, and I've noticed that a lot of buildings in the French Quarter, they have kind of a red tone to them, not necessarily red like bricks, although there is quite a decent amount of brick buildings. But I don't know, with some sort of material that kind of is reminiscent of terracotta. I'm sure I have, there we go, 9 blocks of terracotta, that will do. So I'm gonna try to also mix this in where I can to bring that red tone in. But I don't want to do a whole building out of that because that's a little bit boring. So I want to try doing green on top because I noticed some of the buildings do have different colors for the ground floor and then the upper floors. So maybe green terracotta will work, especially because we're going to be bringing in a lot of foliage at the top. There's a lot of sort of hanging plants I've noticed in these buildings. So I'm definitely going to want to add that. And they also tend to have these balconies and then iron detailing at the top. So for that, I think chains is actually going to be our best friend here because normal iron bars, they're not quite the color. I mean, that looks a little bit awful, but we can make this work somehow. Normal iron bars are not the right color, really. I even considered using copper because I feel like it's going to look a little bit more like that ornate kind of iron work I was looking for. But I think chains, and then maybe adding like a line of trapdoors on the top to really finish the rail or something like that. If the chains don't work, I do have a bunch of copper I could use. And then obviously if that still fails, we can use the iron bars. I'd like to avoid that though. It feels like the easy way out and also not the way that I think is going to look the best in Minecraft. So I'm going to keep building and see what I can do. All right, before me are 2 options that I'm trying out. One of these is the chains, which I don't mind how it looks, but it doesn't feel like the iron bars are almost like too sparse. So I don't know how to fix that. On the other hand, we have the copper, which I think actually looks so much more like the intricate ironwork I'm trying to go for. Except, of course, it's copper. The color is slightly off, but maybe that's okay. I'm trying to think of what I prefer, a little bit more of that correct color or everything else. And currently, I'm feeling everything else is a lot more accurate. The problem I now have is I feel like it kind of clashes with the green, whereas the dark iron, it's a neutral color. The copper definitely isn't. I don't actually think that using the less weathered versions are going to help either. I think that going as green as you can is probably our best bet, but I'm still undecided. I removed all the green terracotta. It was not working. It was definitely not working with the copper color. And now I actually really like the way this looks. We brought in a little bit more neutral colors here with the white. This is actually the same kind of gradient slash texturing I did on my townhouse build of the day video. I need to swap around this diorama birch. The texturing itself needs a little bit of work. I kind of just messily threw this together to see what the colors were doing. And I like the way they look against the copper. I like the way they look against the bricks. It's finished. Oh, there's a creeper behind me. Let's ignore the creeper. Look at the house. I actually think I've done a wonderful job with it. It's been a little bit of a struggle. It's not a style I normally build in, and it's going to start raining. Well, enjoy it in the rain for a little bit because it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Of course, I left the interiors empty. There's one single slightly threatening looking bed here, so maybe I'll move it back a bit. And there is no way up just now, but I'm sure Corn can put in a ladder or stairs or a bubble elevator or whatever she chooses to put in here because obviously this is her shop. So I focused on only getting the exterior done. And hopefully she likes it. Of course, I'll let her know that she can change anything about this build she doesn't like. And I've left the sides kind of plain here because, well, there's already plots marked out to be right on this side, to be right here, and I imagine as the shopping district grows, this build is probably going to be surrounded on all sides except the front here. I the front. Somebody could build here. So, so I suppose the back and the sides don't really matter. So very minimal detailing on them. And we are really skirting the line here to Liz's Froglight shop. So obviously all of this can be removed if the buildings are to be connected. It's really up to Corn and Liz what they want to do with that side. But as a builder, I'm happy I got to try something new. It doesn't look too bad, and hopefully the owner of the shop likes it too. Make sure to check out Corn's video about the beacon deal, and also once she uploads her reaction to this, hopefully she's gonna like it. It feels like every single day I'll log onto the server and I've always logged off outside of my base, and I come back to my base and there's just things there. Something about chicken egg? What is this? What is this? Oh. Poultry. Start here. Okay. Okay, wait, this is from Alex. Agent Yellow. Okay, start here. Heard you need some bone blocks. Hope this helps. Poultry Mad. That is crazy good. Thank you. Yes, do you have some chicken egg? Like 32 of them? If you do, can we trade? I'm making a farm. Contact Angel Yellow for details. Makasih. Okay, that's Indonesian for thank you. These are my shulkers. Yes, okay. That's good. I forgot I've left these. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. I don't think I have any chicken eggs. I don't have a single egg, but I'm so grateful. I will go out and get some eggs for sure. I can get eggs somewhere. 32 chicken eggs, huh? I can do that. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. I'm in spawn to get some chicken eggs and take a look at this, guys. Posters are everywhere. Just take it one for all. And there's a fun little clip here I can include to show you what happened specifically with the Vote for Jaffa poster here. Why there is a big flying no over here. Agent Pink might be responsible for this one. It's good.
Did I add an apostrophe or is it's like better without?
It's better without.
Yeah, now from my base I can just see don't.
I'm just gonna go to this community chicken farm and see if there's any eggs. There is one egg here. Okay. Community chicken farm is running. Oh, look. I just had to stand there and I got a bunch of eggs. Fantastic. I'm going to drop these off at Guard Island, which if you guys haven't seen in other people's channels, Guard Island is island run by Gran, Alex, Red, and Duke, and apparently I'm an honorary member sometimes. Sometimes the sign says Gennard, because I'm here so often. This is like my second home. But I'm going to go ahead and drop this off at Alex's base over here. Somewhere here. There it is. He's building an amazing looking castle wall thing. I'm excited to see what this comes. I hope it's not massive spoilers. And we're gonna leave it here for him to find. Right next to the ender chest is probably a good spot for him to notice it, so I'm gonna leave it here. Sorry, that's all the eggs I have. Or all the eggs I took off spawn farm, but hopefully this helps. And this is a little chicken or the egg first kind of puzzle, except it's an actual question because I don't know which way the words go in Indonesian. Teller I am, or I am teller. I'm not sure if I'm saying that well, but Alex has been so very kindly teaching me some Indonesian, and my favorite phrase so far is nugget ayam, which is chicken nugget. It just sounds so funny. I'm sorry for laughing at your language. It is quite funny. Well, the election is in full swing. Nether portal is decorated, and I've been hard at work on my nether tunnels. Let's take a look. I have basically remade this whole thing. Take a look at it, guys. I've kept the wave, and that's about it. I gave up on trying to fix the sides of it here because I honestly can't think of anything better than sandstone. So yeah, this is it. But I changed out the floor, I've changed out the ceiling, and I changed out these pillars, so they're made of quartz pillars instead of the warped wood. And in all honesty, this looks so much better. Like, this looks so much better, but it was insanely expensive. Look how bright this is as well. If we take away our sort of overlay there with the menu, with the heads up display, it is so insanely bright in here, but I kind of love it. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons I went for quartz. First of all, lovely block. I love quartz. Second of all, our mega base, which I don't remember if I spoke much about, but it's going to be built primarily out of quartz whenever I get around to it. That's why we need all those stonemasons and everything. So this is going to kind of tie this tunnel in to our mega base. Of course, we have the sandstone and we have the wave for sort of our little starter base, although it's not very much of a starter base, it's like a mid base, I think. Mid base is what I would call it. And thirdly, quartz is because it kind of makes me think of a museum, actually, because I have this beautiful Great Wave. I tried to make it more ocean themed, it wasn't working. I've decided to go for museum themed instead. I mean, does it not give you museum vibes? These big, bright tunnels with very little detailing and art on the walls. I think this looks amazing, and so I checked with it, and because technically this is meant to be a blue tunnel, I added the blue concrete there to the ceiling, which I think works. I think ideally I would actually swap this and have the quartz at the top, but unfortunately, guys, I need to have this slabbed. Oh, that just falls through. Not because we're falling through, but because things can't spawn on slabs, obviously. Actually, I've not found anything spawning in here yet, but I will probably need to glass all of these sections up so we can't have mobs spawning on the frog lights or on these little random full blocks, which there's one here, one there, one there. I was kind of careful with where I've put them. No full blocks on these sides, but this is technically a full block, so yeah, Skelly could maybe spawn there or not. I'm not really sure how nether spawning works. It's a bit of a mystery to me. The gas can't spawn here, I know that. Be careful with that. But as we go through biomes here, Soul Sand Valley, I think we're safe because skeletons do have a light level requirement. But the second we were off the Soul Sand Valley up towards this way, which goes into a Crimson Forest, these guys here, they don't care about light levels. So if I'm going to take that design from there and put it here towards the gaming district portals, yeah, we're gonna need to glass up the pixel art so things can't spawn in there. Which I think is going to make it look even more like a museum because we're going to have a big display kind of area. So I actually am looking forward to that, but not just now. Just now we're going to leave it because I'm a little tiny bit burnt out on this. It was a lot of repetitive work and a lot of mining for quartz. But maybe once I finally get that trading hall set up, we can actually work on these tunnels a little bit more, extend them out that way towards the mega base whenever set up the portal for that, and out this way to the gaming district because this is the world's most bare minimum portal at the moment. I mean, look at it. Bare minimum. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up here for today. Next episode is going to be really exciting because the governor election is going to wrap up and we've got some really fun things in store with pranks and such, and hopefully a little bit of building as well because I need to actually work on my base at some point. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye!